How are you doing? I am playing with the new library. Yay! So this is MegaMagic Guitars, Volume 3, Bliss. And why is it Bliss? Because it has this sound that just puts you in a state of bliss. Actually, to do that, I have to play it with a 12-string guitar. And it just so happens, at the last minute, Shane had actually already created one of the encrypted versions of the library. And I was like, hey, can you sneak this in? And so he snuck in a 12-string. Oh, let's see. Gotta roll the chords. Guitar players cannot play. That's an impossible. That's not how a guitar player can play. It has to be broken, rolled. Just the law of physics. They can't strum all the notes. So if you play guitar on a keyboard, you have to keep in mind and I forget sometimes. I'm a keyboard player, so you know. Hi, my name's John Limcool. Welcome to today's live stream. It is July 29th. Yay! This is MegaMagic Guitars Volume 3 Bliss. It is a new library. Let's see if I call up our little website. I can show you some stuff about this. Here it is. Bliss. It's an acoustic bass and an acoustic 6-string guitar. This is the guitar I sampled. Hi, all you guys. Good to see you all. Here's the guitar that I sampled. It is a Randy Jackson limited edition. He did this through the shopping network or something like that. I think it has a date on it. This was 2013. So it's vintage wood. It sounds lovely. I can't play it. I've never been a guitar player. It's one of my things I wish to work on at some point. Hi, Don, Dana, Tim, Danella, Stefan, Mark, Days, Keith, Mark, Floating Lotus, Peaches, Kasaka-san, arigato gozaimashita, domo arigato, Brian, M all was taken. Good to see you all. Welcome. Hey, yeah, good to see you. Yeah, welcome. So this is MegaMagic Guitars Volume 3. It is on the website right here. You can click the artwork. I was actually able to get it into the pull down list of products, so it's there as well. Yay. It's at an introductory price of $45 until August 13th. It is a lovely library. I am very happy with how this turned out. Let's see here. We should show that like that. It has over 1,000 samples in the library. All of the samples are round robin, meaning that there's more than one sample to each of the notes. And that's one of the things that really makes it play so nicely. So when you're playing, if we go to my humble first attempt at recording acoustic guitars, MegaMagic Guitars Volume 1. Actually, on Unify, it's called MegaMagic Guitars. This is a library that I originally did for Omnisphere. Only 6 samples, no round robins, because you could only have 6 samples total in the entire makeup of the sound. So if we go to the Martin 6 string and you play the same note, and it's a little bit more clunky guitar. It's a little bit more country. Now, the thing that always, even with the first version of the library, the thing that's always been great is the MegaMagic versions. The reverb, MegaMagic 2 was the octave shimmers. And it's a nice sound. I've heard these on a lot of tracks. And then for this library, we recorded all sorts of things. There's a lot of single samples. Volume 1, Volume 2. Volume 1 was actually multi-samples across the keyboard. Volume 2 was just single samples. So like all of the Strat and all the stuff down here. This is just a single sample of a Strat, but because of the way that Strat samples are kind of a pure sine wave thing, so but with the MegaMagic, so it's its own unique thing. It's a nice musical character, but it's not that accurate. It doesn't sound like you're playing an actual guitar. And so with MegaMagic Guitars Volume 3, as we're calling it, just to keep, because there's a Volume 1 and a Volume 2 for Omnisphere, so I didn't want to confuse my numbering by calling this Volume 2, because then it'd be like, well, now there's 2 Volume 2s. So we just went with Volume 3. The guitar here, I went for trying to be a lot more accurate to a guitar. If we go down here, in fact, if you go up to the top search, if you have this library and type core, it will show you just the core samples that aren't with more programming and stuff like that. So it's a little bit easier to go here and go guitars. Here's the direct input and the mics. Just plays so nice. It's got this. It's got that vibe. It fits the parts. I mean, you can it sounds much more accurate. And a lot of that has to do with the round robin samples, because now when you play one note, I think there's 4 different samples. Some notes I was able to get because I could play better, or I don't know what it was, but I could got 6, 7 round robins in some cases. And then in this case, for the guitar, I didn't do this for the bass, but for the guitar, the direct input and the microphones, I used 2 pairs of stereo microphones. That's just the mics, and here's just the direct input. And then what's really nice is when you combine the 2 together. So both the DI and the mics have their own sets of round robins, which means when you're playing a note, you're getting round robins from the direct input and from the mics, independent of each other. So it's always different. And because I have more than 6 samples, obviously, I was able to sample higher notes. And then, when we get to the MegaMagics that I was showing in the Volume 1 library, the nice thing here is that with Unify, they can be a separate layer. Kind of like how the ways I did this with MegaMagic Piano or MegaMagic Keys, MegaMagic Harp also, where you have these 2 layers of the guitar, but then there's this 3rd layer of the MegaMagic effect. All by itself. And so you're playing reverb from a guitar as a separate sample layer. And then what's fun with this is to combine them. So this way, unlike MegaMagic Guitars Volume 1 and 2, or MegaMagic Guitars as it's known inside of the Unify library layout, that library, the MegaMagic, is recorded into the samples. It's a little bit louder, so it's like, hey, here I am, you know? So it's... Well, here, since it's a separate layer, you can turn it down. Right? Let's see what you guys are saying. Love the guitar slides and squeaks as a separate drum kit. Are these added randomly or with some kind of rules? Being a bad guitarist, they show up a lot in my actual guitar playing. Yeah. So there are 2 additional layers of effect sounds that are added. There's the note offs. And I wish I had rules. In Contact, you can do things with rules where you say, the longer you hold the notes, the softer the sounds that are on release get, which would be nice. We don't have any rules, so these note offs, they give you just a little bit of like the noise of a guitar player, but if you play the sound too, here, let's mute the granular guitar. If you hold this a long time, and then you let up on the notes, you're gonna hear, you know, there's nothing I can do about that. We don't have advanced enough rules and so forth to do something. So this note off layer, if you want, you're welcome to mute it so that it doesn't do that. Or you can turn it down if it's a little bit too loud. Right? The other layer is squeaks and slides. And what this is I've mapped all of these samples on top of each other so that they do round robins, and they're set to re-trigger on mono and unpitched. So they don't play at different pitches as you play up and down the keyboard. It just plays one sample. And then by using Trigger Box, I have it set to 20%. And you can make this less, or you can make it more if you want more noises or less, which means that 20% of the times the note offs are gonna actually catch and play a note. So let's make it louder. So at 20%, they kind of pop in at about the right amount, it seemed for me. But we don't have rules. I don't have like, if you're playing within this range, play these samples. If you're playing a wider, some plugins, they've gotten into that level of detail. We're not there. So this one here just has these. And if you go to the DI and mics, you'll see here's the note off layer, and here's the slide effects, SFX. So you can just plays. And it's random, which means sometimes it's going to play 2 or 3 at a time. I mean, there's no way to determine the random. But I'm not a fan of it doing all the time, every time. So it's nice that we can use Trigger Box to get a little bit of You know, sometimes I'm playing really clean, like Lee Ritenour or somebody like that. And other times I'm playing a little bit more dirty, like a country playing some sort of like really nasty, and they're getting all into it, stuff like that. So the Granular Church Shimmerville is the second of the guitar. And this shimmer verb, it's filtered. In fact, I might even I could filter it even here darker. So if you want to make it, you could determine, since it's a separate layer, what's really great is you can do all sorts of fun things. You could set this to a sinking 8th note pulse if you want. We go use shape to be custom and go filter cutoff. And now, you know, right? So there's all sorts of tricks you can do now because that reverb effect layer is separate. And the other thing that's nice with this is that if I wanted to, I could say goodbye to the Unify guitar, go up here, say ample, and call up their really lovely Martin acoustic guitar and play it. This is the ample sound, M. And they have rules, so they can do that kind of stuff. But I personally, I like the sound of the MegaMagic guitar over this. But you can see that whatever guitar you want, you could layer. I could go, let's go Omnisphere, and let's call up the nylon. Even the nylon from Nylon Sky could work with this and sound quite lovely. So we can go Sonic Extensions, Nylon Sky, clean, and now this is a guitar that, to me, they designed it to sound great in recordings. There's very little expressivity to playing it in this patch. Other patches, of course, are different. You can get into other ones that would be expressivio. But even then, you play soft. And then they get into all sorts of fun things, and I don't like not seeing what I'm gonna play before I play it, so it's hard to go through these and set no. I'm gonna find just a guitar to show you. Maybe this. This plays more expressive, but it still doesn't have the expressivity that is inside of the. I really feel like I'm getting some dynamics from it. So I'm really, considering all these other companies have way more people, more expertise and so forth, I'm really happy with how this turned out. And this was recorded right here in my bedroom of my house. It wasn't recorded in a studio with $10,000 in microphones and $20,000 in preamps. It was 4 microphones going into a Focusrite Scarlett 8 XLR inputs into Logic, recorded straight. No preamps, no expensive gear. You don't have to have really expensive gear to make quality samples. It can help. It can get some more, like maybe sonic dynamic range in some respects. But It's not a prerequisite to make quality sounds, especially if you know your tools. And I was going to show you a little bit more in depth than I have in the other videos. Let's do this. I'm going to go to the work folder. Let's see here. It's going to take a second for my hard drive to wake up. Hey, Simeon, you made it. Thank you. I'm so glad that you like it. So in Unified Development, let's see if I can show you something interesting here. One thing I had to do, MegaMagic Guitars Volume 3 works. So each library that I make, just to give you guys a little more background into my organized, disorganized self. Each library that I make, I have a work folder with all of the gigabytes of all the samples through the development of a library. If I'm working with Bob on a library like Ambient Dreams, he sends me different versions of the library as he's working on it. I keep backups of it if I need to refer to it, if samples get broken, if I go edit something, I can fix it. So if I go back here to MegaMagic Guitars Volume 3 work, let's see, here's the acoustic. Here's some of the samples. I think this is before I edited. So if I go over here to the open, let me play and find one really quick. So here's all the samples. Like you see, there's like 5 of the 6 of E4. And let's do this. Let's select a handful of these really quick. And I'm going to open them in my sample editor of choice, which is a free program called, what's it called? Ocean Audio. Very handy. It gives you both a spectrometer reading as well as the waveform. So I can go through here and look at the samples. Like here's one where there's noises at the end of the sample. Like that would make it unusable for some people. But let me see here. Let me find one that's more obvious. I have some that are like really bad. This is the microphone. So let's see here. I'm just going to try to find one that fits into the category. You'll see some of these. Yeah, you can see them. I can see them, right? Like here. Hear that click? That would be unusable to most people, right? So that's open mic D flat 5, number 2. So we go over here to the samples. D flat 5, number 2. I'm going to open this in RX. This is the lifesaver application for somebody working with samples like nothing else on the planet. I tell you, this is just, it's almost too good to be true what you can do with this program. But it also now shows you a spectrum of the sound. And you see this click. So I can highlight just the click. I'm going to go in here and I can select all these little tiny bands of noises where I boo-booed. I did some sort of a boo-boo. And then they have all these different types of tools. But to be honest, one of the most powerful tools is the gain tool. And I set it at -6 dB and I do 2 times. 1, 2. And then I select it. And it's far less. And then I can go into specific areas where I might need to do more. Render there. And I'll get to where you barely, if you like listen with headphones to the sound all by itself, you might be able to hear something. And I did a little bit too much dipping. I would actually like zoom in a little bit more and like, okay, I want to not do anything here. It's really just this part right there that I need to work on. And render. They also have things you can do with frequency. But you can clean things up that way. I also, the other tool that's really handy is, let's see if we go, let's see if I have my, I could normalize the sample. So let's say normalize, oh wait, where's normalize? Over here. Normalize, I think I should, just to show you what we can do for the levels and stuff like, where's the normalize tool? Normalize to a, let's say to a 0 dB. So now it's noisy. Hear that noise in the whole body of it? So I made, I took the audio file and I found a place where it was totally silent and I had RX study that noise. And so I can say render, and then I have this certain amount that I can have it reduced. And let's say, let's have it reduced by like maybe like 12 for the first pass. And you set it to the D algorithm, which is the strongest, and you can say preview. The noise is gone. It can get rid of the noise, and then you can taper back. Like maybe I don't need like that strong of a noise reduction. I just want to get rid of some of it. And again, let's go. Let's get rid of our clicks. Maybe we'll do the clicks after we so let's select it all, normalize, and then we'll denoise, and then we remove the clicks to make this work better. So we say render, and watch the noise. Boom. It lightens up quite a bit. And if I want, I can select just this frequency here instead of the main tone of it, and then have it render another pass just in the higher frequencies where there's like room noise and you see there's no frequencies here. Right? And then there's a lovely squeak. So now that I've done that, I can go in. And again, if I was doing this like for serious, real application, I'm just kind of doing this quick for the live stream, but you can use just like Photoshop tools for getting the marquee to be exactly where you want this to be. Let's do these one at a time because this guy here is the most offensive. Go to the gain and let's say minus like 12. And you can work on it. It takes a long time to get everything to work to the level that you want it to work so that it's not noticeable. But I did this in the samples for the library for times when I clicked and squeaked and certain samples needed to be denoised and so forth. If you spend the time, you do it carefully, you will end up with them sounding, you know, let's get rid of the reverb and get rid of all this stuff and turn these up so you can hear. There's a little bit of noise in there still, I heard. But you can minimize it so much. So samples that might not be perfect, you can dial them in a little bit more with the right kind of tools. And then let me do this. This might mess up the audio a little bit. We're taking a risk. Yeah, the spectral layers is insane. Yeah. Hey, Bob. Good to see you. So this, let me show you a couple other files here. Let's go over to Logic. Let's see. Here is the final. Let's do this. I'm going to go to the audio track of what I'm playing and say copy this. So my audio might go away for a second. I'm going to open up another file that doesn't have mic. Let's see if in a second you'll hear me. If you don't hear me for a second, it's okay. Don't freak out. I'll get the microphone working in a second. So check this out. Test 1, 2. Okay, so here we are. We're back. This is the list of the effects that I used to make the Bliss. So if I call up in Unify MegaMagic Guitars Bliss, that's right here. There's this layer that has like reverse delays and it's very subtle, but it's just enough to give you that vibe of, you know? So how did I get that? So I first sampled the guitar, mapped it, tuned it. You have to be in tune before you make your reverb samples. Otherwise, you're going to have out of tune reverb. So I've learned that a long time ago. You have to do all that kind of stuff. So I think this is the bass currently that I'm playing. So I called up the maps. Let's see here. Unify. This is the Black Beauty bass pianissimo that I played. That's one note going into Black Hole. I'll even show you my presets because I just like to share everything. I don't have anything to hide. So it's Black Hole going into Crystallizer. This is a reverse. See how it's set to reverse? Then I used RC48, which is a wonderful, it's my favorite Lexicon-esque reverb. You turn off the 100%. When you call it up, it sets to wet, but you click here, set it to mix so you can change the depth. Go to your options. I think I changed with some stuff down here, as well as you typically set this to random hall is what I usually do. Then there's an EQ, which I'm using just to get rid of some low end, boost certain frequencies that I'm gonna want to then go into another crystallizer and another crystallizer, and then finally Valhalla Room. So all of those effects together, when you play one note, if I turn all these guys off, say off, off, off. I wish they had a global off button, but they don't. It's the bass. Then you add the Black Hole reverb. That gives it the initial vibe. I love the Black Hole reverb from Eventide. It's just such a... You can't play lots of notes because it's designed to sample one note. And let's bring those in. Okay. Then Crystallizer. This is doing the reverse delays. Just a little bit, and then it goes away. I just wanted it to like, because those are echoes that something else is gonna pick on later. So then here's the RC48 added. Just kind of like smooths it out in a nice way. EQ to boost the frequencies. Right? Now another crystallizer. That's longer, and then it keeps kind of like growing, and then another crystallizer just to make it even more complex. And it's transposed an octave up. That's here. I'll show you the presets to this one. This is kind of the important one, because this has, if you go down here and you hit tweak, you can get to other settings, and you can see that I've got the pitch offset, smoothing. The pitch here is at 1200 cents. And I've got pretty significant low cut up so that it doesn't have a lot of low frequencies being fed into the octave delays. And the Valhalla Room on top of that. And that just like smooths it out even more. So all of these guys combined were used to create this Bliss effect that I applied for bass and guitar. And then all you do is I played in notes, and that I do in real time. Forget II or automation, all that kind of crap. Play it, listen until it's silent, play the next original sample. This is all by hand. I pride myself like the guys that make guitars by hand. These libraries are made with love by hand. This all automated, put it in and push a button and it does it for you. That's crap I will never, ever, ever do. Never, ever, ever. I'm totally against that. So this is all carefully crafted by me, okay? That's what you pay for. It's not for how fast I can push buttons and do it by automatic steps. So you listen till it's totally gone before you play the next note, and then you play it back and you bounce it down as audio. And then you go in and you chop it up, and then down here are all the samples. I've put fades, and then you export those as separate audio files. And in the end, you end up with these samples that make for a lovely sound. That plays. So fun to do. And then you go back. Now remember, 2 or 3 live streams ago, we made the Genesis version before I like took it even farther. I didn't quite have the reverse echoes. I didn't have all that kind of stuff. appreciate guys. Yes, thank you. Anyway, I'm really happy with how this turned out. It's just so fun. And I'm not saying others do, you know, there's all these ads you see for people talking about how to do things with AI and stuff. I'm not saying anybody else does things with AI and with shortcuts and stuff like that. I do know some that do. And, you know, in the end, if you can tell the difference or not, I don't know. I can. I can. So. Oh, that's so good. If you guys are addicted to sodas, get yourself some GT's Pineapple Kombucha. It hits the soda button in your taste buds, but it's so much better for you. You're getting probiotics. You're not getting any hardcore sugar. It's fruit sugar, and it's actually been eaten up for the most part through the process of the kombucha making. So this is good for you. I don't drink any soda anymore. I just have kombucha or flavored waters like the Hint. There's no sugar in those. I'm so happy to be free of that demon. Sugar is just a nightmare. To get rid of that, we are all addicted to sugar on such a high level with the foods around us. Do everything you can to fight that and find solutions to things that are not pure high levels of sugar. There's nothing worse you can feed your body except alcohol, because your body takes sugar and alcohol and kind of both of them screw up your liver, all that kind of stuff. So just a healthy Skippy. I'm working on getting healthy. Not there yet, but I'm getting better. So. Okay, let's see. What are you guys talking about? Crock pot versus microwave. Amen. Right on, Reggie. I have to take a screenshot of that quote. That is, in fact, I'm going to do that because I like that. I am a crock pot. Crock pot, limb cool. All right, we got, where is it? Did it show up? There it is. I'm saving that one. Crock pot versus microwave. We like the crock pot. Thank you. Oh, okay. So the other thing that's fun with this is it's so good to see Bob here. Bob, thank you so much. Bob did 2 demos for this library that came out so lovely, and I'm just thrilled they're here. And he, like myself, used only Unify and these sounds for the demos. So what's really, really fun is down here at the end of the list for the library for a first, all of the demos that we've done for the product that are on the website page. You can go here to MegaMagic Bliss, and if you scroll down, you can get, let me see if you guys want to leave me a review for the library. I've got 1 review so far. I would love some more reviews of you guys talking about the library and what it means to you, what you think of it. I love honest feedback, whether it's positive, negative. I welcome it all. Just makes me a better sound designer as I continue to learn. But any feedback. You also get a 20% coupon for any review for leaving anything on the website. So it would be very helpful to me, and I send some thank you back to you for the next thing you purchase to save some money. So please, if you can. Anyway, these demos, check this out. This is, let me make sure you hear this. Yeah. This is the original demo with singing. Here, I'll be quiet for a minute. Now the vocals are not unified. I still don't know how Bob can sing like that, but he's such a great singer. Isn't that nice? Yeah, that piano in there, that's the rainy piano. Yes. Everything you're hearing except for the vocal is Unify MegaMagic Guitars Volume 3 Bliss. In fact, what's really cool is when you go to this library. Oh, wait. Don't play that one yet. Skippy, wait. If you go to the library and if you call it Eternal Bliss, he sent me the MIDI files. I set them all up to latch. And you can mix it. You can go over here and say, I want the drums a little louder. If I solo, there it is. Here's the pads. Guitar. It's there. And so it's built in. Same way with Deeper You. Deeper You is a track that I did. And I did once, I wanted to use the Bliss bass in kind of a cool way, and I just came up with this really cool hook. Here, I'll let this play, and I'll show you in Unify. Right? So this is the demo inside of, you can play the whole thing on the page, but if you go to Unify and you call it Deeper You and you play middle C, there it is. Same tracks, everything. And I did some filter automations and things in the recorded version that I couldn't quite pull off here, but here's the piano already. Here's the piano by itself. It's so dark. Super dark, but it just fills in so lovely. And here's the bass solo. And I could have added bigger drums and all that stuff. Yeah, but you know. Anyway, if you have the Unify, you can play these songs. And in fact, if you play a note and it plays the demo and you don't play the note to stop it, it will repeat. And it'll repeat and repeat. You could, it's funny. If you call, well, the offices are closed now, but for probably 20 years, if you called Korg R&D in Milpitas, that's in Northern California, close to San Jose. That's where when I did the voicing for the Wave Station synthesizers and so forth with Korg, those were designed by Korg R&D, which used to be Sequential with John Bowen and all those guys. If you called their phone, when they put you on hold, was a Korg Wave Station SR playing the I think there were 4 demos that were done for it by a friend of mine, Tim Gilpin, nonstop for 20 years. It was a Korg Wave Station SR that played the demos. So you put call and talk to Kathy. Everybody now works from home. It's all remote office and stuff like that now. But back in the day, if you called Korg R&D's offices in Milpitas, it was a Wave Station SR playing the same demo songs over and over for 20 years. So that's pretty funny. Anyway, so let me show you the sound. So a lot of you guys are talking about this piano. This piano is a bonus I just put in because I recorded this when I recorded the pianos for MegaMagic keys. But I didn't have the time to finalize it. Let me turn off my air conditioner. Kind of hot here in Portland in the summer. But here it is. It's like the ultimate chill. It's just that vibe. And if you want, I have additional rain from Costa Rica added. You could like just mute it if you want. So it's just the piano. And the unique thing about this, you hear that rain in the background. Here, let's take all the programming off so that there's no velocity. It was a Sunday morning, and instead of snow in Idaho, it was raining. But it's this beautiful sounding rain. And so I just opened the doors and I placed my little, my little Tascam field recorder so that it was, these microphones were pointing outside to the rain. And then I had 2 XLR inputs that were being sent over to the piano to record the U1 upright piano at my mom. She has a little studio where she teaches students. It's kind of like an attachment to the house. So right there, I could have the doors open outside and the piano. So I recorded the piano while it rained. So inside of these samples is rain. And it's real rain, Idaho winter rain on a Sunday morning. And then if you call up the patch, I've made it more expressive and stuff. So then, and then because the rain kind of goes away when you play notes off and when it fades out, different velocities, right? You're gonna have the rain disappear and not. So I added a rain layer that's like a steady rain layers. So I'm kind of cheating a little, but it makes it more musically playable to do it this way. But you're playing a piano in the rain. How nice. And then the darkest tone is the piano that I use for the recordings. And that's... You don't hear the rain, super filtered. But it just has this just magic to it, you know? Anyway, I didn't have time to finish this before I wanted to release the piano library, so it sat in a folder for 2 years. And I revived it, mapped it, tuned it, cleaned up the ends of the samples, did all sorts of things that I do to the samples for finalizing them. It's just totally ready to be placed in a track because that reverb isn't going to get in the way. Most of the sounds that I make, I design them to be ready to just be put into a track. That's why so many of you love to buy the libraries that I've made. And I thank all of you so much. In fact, I can't tell you the total because I'm not going to get quite into that level of detail. But I think we're up to almost 1,400 sales for this month, which is just crazy to think in 1 month, 1,400 people came and said, I need new sounds for my plugins. That's awesome. So thank you to all of you that contribute. So this library has the bass. I haven't shown the bass yet, have I? So here's the bass. Right here is the actual bass. It is both the guitar and the bass I bought off Craigslist. The guitar was, I think, $125. This bass was $75. Bought it from a guy in downtown Portland. He came out of this really big Portland complex. He's probably like on the 5th floor or something like that. Met him on the street. He's like, here, check it out. So the city cars are going by and noise and horns and buses. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. I think I can sample that. And so both the guitar and the bass have direct inputs on the, here it's right here. So I recorded the bass because low end is so important to get the phase locked into place. I didn't do like the guitar where it's like the DI and the mics is separates. I kind of wanted that phase mixing up and stuff a little bit on the guitar. I didn't want that for the bass. So for the bass, I simply recorded it one pass with DI and stereo. Actually, I used all 3 microphones. I used one Rode close up for the detail because the Rodes are so great at picking up all the like nuances, the frequencies of the strings rattling and stuff like that. And then back my 2 Sennheisers, this being one of them. I don't have Sennheiser 414s. I couldn't afford those when I was buying microphones. So I bought a matched stereo pair of Sennheiser 214s. And great investments. Buy matched stereo pairs. The Rode NT5s, I bought those off eBay, used as a pair of stereo phase locked microphones as well. That just means that they've spec'd them out with the factory so that they like complement each other. They're set. I don't know what other spec they do and stuff like that. But I used the 2 Sennheisers back a little bit just to pick up the room of me playing a bass, and then the close-up Rode for the string buzzing and stuff, and then the direct input to get the low end the way I want it. And then this is the 2-way velocity. If we go down here, there's actually 4 different sounds from the bass I captured. It took 2 or 3 weeks to get this right, but this is just the P bass, pianissimo, meaning the softest bass. Oh, and Amante 51, my brother, thank you. Thank you, Tom. Hey. Oh, your basses belong to Skippy. Welcome to the family. I appreciate that so much, man. Bliss to you too, my friend. So the P bass is pianissimo, so it's just that frozen in this one place. And then I have, again, separate squeaks and stuff for the bass. I'm going to mute that so you just hear the bass. But each time you play a note, it's a different sample. So to me, that's more important than the velocity dynamics of from soft basses to medium to, as you'll see when I show you the velocity, it's so easy. It's really hard to control velocity switching. It worked out to be a little bit more important for the bass, so I went ahead and did this for the bass. But for the guitar, I couldn't get it to where I could play soft velocities that matched medium or hard velocities. I will tell you this: the Renegade library from Bob Deddes has 8 velocity layer guitars, and they're insane. I mean, he is my inspiration for this. And you go to his Renegade library to his guitars. These guitars are just incredible because they are 8 velocity layers. Each one has like 4 round robins. So these my mind cannot even picture the amount of focus it takes. When you play soft, you get the mutes. For distortion, I mean, the amount of distortion you'd have to sit and listen to in order to get that. Can't do it. I just can't do it. But for the bass, I did do 4 velocities, so I'm learning. I'm getting there. But I did pianissimo for the soft bass. And then fortissimo, a little bit harder. Almost slap, but not quite. And then slap. Again, round robin samples. And then the mutes, which I barely pulled off. I'm not a very good mute bass player, but so you have them as separate patches, but you also have them as a four-way mutes when you play soft. And these are all just played by hand. I didn't use picks for this. So, no, bless you, Bob. For that amount of work, it's just incredible. But for picks, and to play mutes, you kind of like mute with your palm. Can you hear that? It takes so much work and focus to get that, to get to play right. So that's what I created for the bass. And then just like the guitar where I had the, there's both the granular reverb for the granular church. Then there's Shimmerville. Is it Shimmerville? I can't remember what I called it. Yeah, Shimmerville. And then the Bless guitar. I did a Bless bass, which is right here. So you play a note. And again, you hear multiple cascades. That's because there's multiple layers of the crystallized from Sound Toys. So, and what's really fun with this, it just rings out so nicely with the bass. Isn't that nice? So it's just this like, oh man, I'm in heaven, right? And I didn't limit the notes. I let it go all the way down to C, and actually farther than that down, because there's times where you want, I like to play in the key of C, and I want to be able to go like this and not have a silent note, but okay. And then there's two additional effects. Again, if you go up here and you type core, you'll see that other basses go away, but the fragments bass, this is using the granular, and at one point it was called Fragments Complex and Fragments Simple, but I decided to rename them to make it a little bit easier. If things have the same name but it's different variations, it's confusing to remember which is which. So I just try to make them have different names. So Fragments is the more complex, has reverb and this granulized effect. I can show you that in a second too. It's using fragments from Arturia. In fact, here, let's do this. Are you ready for a little bit more adventuring? Let's see here. Let's go to Logic. Move this over to this window and see if I can get it to load up fragments. So say load. My mic might go away for a second, but I'll be back. You know, I'm not going to go anywhere. I'll be right back. HDs are weak in it. You want to sell the metal. Oh, hold on a second here. I have a yard sale happening outside at the same time. So there's a lot going on at my house right now. Let's see here. Open. Do I have fragments there? No. Let me go over to my work folder. Let's see, close this. Close this. I got to go back to this folder. This hard drive. Development. Magic Guitars Work Volume 3. Bass. That's the regular bass. Where's my fragment? Bass fragments. Here we go. It took 5 variations before I finally got what I wanted. Close. Test 1, 2. There I am. Okay, so this is using fragments. Let's see, make sure I don't have anything else going on. Go to Unify. And my voice is a little hyperized because some of my finalizing techniques that I use were, I used the God particle, which is a really incredible single do-it-all mastering plugin. Just insane. I love it. But here, let's get rid of these for now. So I'm hearing that doubling of my voice. So fragments. Which is doing this to the bass. So here's without fragments. Here's fragments. So it's doing a pitch shifting. So the patch is called Ripples, is more just this. Whereas then I took it farther and I used 2 different shimmers and the RC48 for this just like, oh my gosh, that's beautiful type of a vibe. And as you can see, I have the mix at 100%. I just want it to be only the reverb effect. Right? And I started with the dampened fifths, and then I modified some settings to get it more to my liking. Fragments is a really, really cool effect. If you guys are into granular effects, what's fun is that it's an audio effect, which means you can apply this to anything, even things that don't have a granular effect built into them. This gives you a granular effect to apply to them. So there's a number of granular effects that I really enjoy working with. This is one. Output makes one that's really great. There's a couple others out there as well, but I'm just going to keep my mouth shut on all the others. But I use fragments, RC48, Valhalla Shimmer, 2 different settings of Valhalla Shimmer, RC48. So all of that went into making, let's see here. Let's mute that and go to Unify. That all went into making this sound. So here is Ripple, which is a simpler. It's more just without all the maybe there might be a little reverb or something there. I can't remember what I did in the final for mix. So you can play these kind of like simple ostinatos. All that kind of stuff. It doesn't get in the way. Fragments is a little bit more attention demanding. And because of the fifth being so pronounced, it's kind of more of like a single bass line thing. And then Bliss is just like, you know, stupid. What was my... I love my brain. Let's see. Gotta remember what I played. Let's see. I think. I need a drink anyhow. Okay, so I think I can remember what I played now. Let's see if we go up here to Bliss. There it is. Interesting chord. I just started playing it and I was like, oh, that's pretty. I like never write in the key of D flat, but here I am writing in D flat. So you can see the keys. Those notes. The D flat. Right? Okay, so we got to make some bonus patches really quick because I said I would make some and give them to you at the end of the live stream, remember? So let's do one with the piano. I wanted to do that one because, especially with all you guys saying nice things about the piano, we got to. Let's combine this and the guitar for like a lo-fi. Do you guys say lo-fi or lo-fi? Were you playing a cajon? Oh, let me explain that really quick. So no, I wasn't playing a cajon per se. I was playing the guitar as if it was a cajon. Actually, I was playing the bass. I was slapping on the bass. So the additional, I didn't even cover this. Sorry about that. The final ingredient in the MegaMagic Guitars Volume 3 library is the drum sounds that you're hearing. And they're very unique. And that's because they're coming from the bass guitar. All of them. So these... There's 25 grooves that I wrote specifically for this library. You can go to the knobs and change between the different 25 grooves and see the names up here. Something like hip hop stuff, but it's not per se a cajon, but I played the bass with mallets and with my hands. For all these kick type sounds. Now these are lower than they normally were when I sampled it. In fact, I think I have it over here, this pitch mapping control on the page 3. If you turn this off, hear how the drums, if you turn this off, it goes back to the normal octave down or octave up, I guess. Whatever I set it to, that's the original. So when you're playing these grooves, you can play it this way or go to pitch mapping and turn it off. That's the original samples. But in the drum kit, I did some tricky things where I would take and I would map. Actually, I can show it to you this way. It's kind of cool. Go here. This doesn't have an open recent, so I have to go over here. Let's see. Where's the Gold Master? Well, I can actually show you from the folder because I'm here. So go libraries. Hello. Open up, please. MegaMagic 3, guitars. Drum kit, bass, the black bass drum kit. What do they call it? Black bass drum kit. 127 samples. Every note across the keyboard is a sample. And then what you can do inside of the program is this root key says what note is playing when you play the original note of this sample. And so as I went up and down the keyboard map, as you can see, these are all mapped up higher because it's the drum sounds. I want it to be the snares. I want it to be higher. But when I get to the kick drums, all of these here are up higher. And then when you'll see when I get to the snare drums in a second, right about there, these are snares because I had it like maybe 1 or 2 off. I didn't want to be off. A lot of times it's the exact same sample or up and down. And when you get to the hi-hats up here, they track down low because I wanted them to be a little bit higher, a little bit thinner than the original samples were. So I went through by hand and determined where I wanted the tuning of every one of the samples in this drum kit. So that when you play these grooves, you can play it with the stretched mapping so it sounds like a drum kit, or turn off pitch mapping. And now that's exactly what the samples are versus that. That's the originals. So you can go back, but what this is doing is there's a setting inside of Guru Sampler for the pitched or unpitched. If it's unpitched, then it ignores those note offset assignments and it plays just the samples as raw samples without any offset sample map settings. So I was able to change this parameter by moving this slider. See how it changes that? That's all it's doing. So that way you can call up these grooves, you can play them. But I wanted to have more of the vibe of like a drum kit. So the kick drums needed to be in a certain frequency range. And what's great with these is then call up one of these grooves. All 25 of the grooves are available also as hats, kicks, and snares. Same numbers. Now, I messed up. I'm going to be releasing a bonus update to the library, and I'll be fixing a few things. For one thing I messed up, if you call up the number 1 patch, it's silent because MIDI box is set to blank because I had messed up and forgotten to set it up quite the right way and stuff like that. So if we go normal and I call up hi-hats 1, I fixed it now for this. Oh, no, I didn't. So you got to go to, just change it to 1. And then I'm going to save and update these. But the hi-hats, kick, and snare, all my transgressions, I need to fix these. So I'll fix these in 10 days or so. On the 10th of August, I'll release an update with bonus patches. So anyway, the fun thing is all these drum grooves are available to call up. Then go to Unify Layer. And there's these splits at the bottom of the list. I'm going to be making some more, but you can go Intimate Rain. And this gives you a nice bass. Oh, wait, I'm down an octave too low. Let's do this. Let's make this a bonus patch. I really like this. And I'm going to make it one where let's have the drums be able to be played with a single note. So we're going to go over to Unify MIDI Effects, go to Creative, to Trigger Box. And there's a preset here called C4 plays with the modulation wheel. Now this MIDI effect is after MIDI box, which means it's not going to trigger MIDI box because it's after it. So click and drag to put it before MIDI box. And now when I play with, move the mod wheel up, if you have, now I've got the reverb assigned, right, on the mod wheel. But if you just move the mod wheel up just a little bit, it doesn't have reverb on it. So just do that. Now I need to change a couple settings on the transport. Anytime you do this where you have like a drum groove on the mod wheel, I don't want anything to trigger to restart it. So I'm going to take the key range of transport to that, and I'm going to set it to latch. And these settings allow it so that now this can start. Now the starting and stopping is only by the mod wheel. And let's find some sort of a BPM patch from the standard library, and then maybe we'll doctor it up. Maybe it will work perfectly the way it is. Let's try a chord, one of the chord dances. Maybe. Let's see, let's try some other ones. So what's fun, once you've loaded something as a new Unify layer, open up that Unify layer, and now you can like cycle between patches and try different things. Let's type in WS for wave sequencing, and now it will show me all my BPM patches that have wave sequencing. So let's try like, there's this like a sequence silk. Let's play with that. Now it's too bright and it's way too loud, so let's do this. First of all, we're going to right click on this, on the low note, and then play C on the keyboard. So we stop it so it can't play with the bass. It's only up here. Let's turn it down. And we can go into this now. Now this is doing wave sequencing in a kind of unique way. It's using Polybox to trigger based on MIDI channels. Each note gets sent to the next MIDI channel. And so as you can see, there's 9 different layers. I think the 9th is actually a pad, or there's 11 total. So now let's take that high one. And instead of that being a tong, let's find a different sound for that. Let's take it down an octave for that one. And there's a guitar right here. Let's maybe find something a little bit more mellow so it's not going to get in the way of the guitar. Let's go to MegaMagic Guitars Part 2. As you can see, there's a small selection of some of the samples of the libraries I put into the ROM of Unify. Yeah, that's better. I just don't want to get in the way of the guitar. Let's put this in a nice splashy reverb so it kind of stands out a little bit. So let's say data verb. And then let's give it a little bit more of a modern production. So let's go over here to the dynamics and use a pump house. And I'm gonna go to the presets to sidechain, like number 3. Let's play the depth. Now you notice there's like things splashing. So whenever I hear that, I'm like, let's put a delay on that. And let's make it a little bit more diffused with the chorus. So turn on the chorus. Now we have something kind of cool, I think. So. Now, it's a little bit too bright. It's getting in the way of the hi-hats, because the hi-hats, I put some, it's humanized a bit. It's not perfectly quantized. So last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a filter on this just to like maybe limit it a little bit. So we'll go EQ, filter max is our filter as an effect. And let's try low pass. We can try something like band. It's not working for me. All that work, but as you can see, it's trial and error, WS. Let's see if there's something else we might be able to find in here that's interesting. Power arch. That's better. It kept the delay and the filter that I had setting. Let's just bring it down a little bit more. And we could do something kind of fun. Let's get rid of filter max there, and instead let's go to Unify. And let's see. We got a pump house here. We don't have a filter max. Let's put a filter max really quick. I'm gonna go over a little bit in time. I can tell, just a little bit. I'll get you this. It's got to be set up pretty nice. So let's go like this and. I just want something to be moving the filter a little bit. So let's see. We've got this as a filter on right here on the outputs. Let's bring it one more in so it's not at loud max. And then we go to the knobs. And let's call this filter max. And we right click and we give it full range. And we just go down to the master effect, filter max, filter frequency. So now I can control that. So I can have this come up and down with a what do we have? CC writer. So let's go over here, say, go away. Let's put a CC writer in the MIDI effect slot, because CC writer is a MIDI effect. And I have to go here to go built-in CC writer. And this is set to CC20, right? That means I need to go, I forgot one thing. I need to go to this knob that's called filter max. Click on the little bullet and assign it to MIDI CC20. So now it's going to start dancing to whatever this is doing. So now, maybe I don't want to go all the way down to the dark. So I can click on the low end, say stop right here. Maybe I want to have a dip. So we'll say let's go right here. And let's put a little more resonance on the filter max right here. That'll make it stick out a little bit more. What should we call this? You guys got an idea for what to... I need one more fix. I'm going to go to the mod wheel in case you guys get the drums going. Let's go over here to the page one reverb amount. even at max, I can determine by hearing totally dry. Let's have it pop up. So it's about the same the whole time. So that way it just is nice, you know? But we need a name. That's nice. Midnight Walker. Sold. I like that. How about Midnight Dancer? I like that better. BPM split. What else? I have very fortunate. Okay, so let's call it Midnight Dancer. So Midnight Dancer. We want to go over here. This is a BPM split, so I'll get this stuff right. BPM, bass, rain, piano, acoustic, guitar, wave sequence, WS is important. BPM, well, I got BPM, drums, and bonus, because this is the bonus patch. So bonus patch made during the live stream on July 29th, 2023. And I might add a little bit more to it. Save as. Let's make one more. I'll give you guys 2 bonus patches. This will be a little bit more straight ahead. We won't get quite so carried away. So say normal load. Go to guitars volume 3. Let's go. We were going to something with the piano, right? So let's go piano, darkest tone. And let's say that we use just the mic version of the acoustic guitar as the separate layer. And hold down Option and transpose so it goes down an octave. And let's just do this really quick. We're gonna like slap super glue on this. We're gonna go filter max, low pass. Now this is one way to do it. Let me show you another way. Instead of filter max, we're going to call up, under distortion is Chow Tape Model. We were really fortunate that Jaitan Chowdhury, this wonderful genius software guy, I think he's out of college now. He's made these effects. And so Chow Matrix, Chow Tape Model are a number of, in fact, here, let me point you to his site. It's the least I can do. Chow Tape Model download. Chow DSP is the website, and he's always working on new things, and these are all free effects. The Chow multi-tool, I don't even know. Several tools: EQ, wave shaper, band splitter, keyboard tracking. Oh, for clap only. Okay, so he's gotten into the clap plugin support and stuff like that. BYED is build your own distortion. Here's Chow Tape Model, Chow Matrix. Those are the 2 that are inside of Unified. Chow Centaur is a really cool guitar pedal. Chow Kick is a really cool kick plugin for making kick sounds. Anyway, Chow Tape Model, we were really lucky and blessed that he said, sure, no problem, include it. So what this can do, these parameters right here are fascinating because they are physical model based, introducing the things that happen when tape degrades. So as you bring these up, hear how the tape still, guitar still sounds good. brightness is gone. It takes, if you have a drum kit that's a little brittle sounding, this is wonderful to just use this. And let's go over here to wow, and turn up some depth to like about 30 or 40. And then you bring your mix to 50% and you get chorus. Don't want as much chorus, you can bring down the depth here, or bring it up to 100%, and then you don't get it because you're not comparing the. What happens is, as you bring down the mix, it's playing the original versus the modulated version. That's how chorus works. If you play a chorus at 100%, you don't hear the chorus. It's at 50% where you hear half the dry signal, and then you hear this modulated signal that's changing the chorus. And let's put this in a nice room. So I'm going to get rid of these two auxiliary effects, and instead, well, here, let's do over here. Let's click this little bullet, replace from layer, go to reverbs, and there's some nice rooms like natural room. I make sure that we're set here. Add one more element to make this super juicy. Let's do this. Let's add it. Let's do an FM dark pad. So let's go DX pad bank solo, so I can hear just this by itself. Wow. Oh, I've got effects on this. So let's do this. That's why it sounds so good. I was like, wow. My DX7 never sounded like that. That's not quite the pads I was looking for. Let's do searching for a second. Original Yamaha DX5. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Cloud. So let's double click to load this whole bank into here. That's what I wanted. Let's take it down an octave and put some reverb on it. And it's a little bit too detuned. So let's look at our frequencies here. Here's where the... Let's bring down a little bit less reverb. It's still too detuned. All right, so, and let's see, is there any modulation going on here? It's almost like a sine pad. I just want a little bit of motion. reverb because it kind of like diffuses that detuning. And I'm gonna put a little bit of a high pass filter on it so it's not quite so muddy. So go filter max. By the way, these are my 64 audio in-ear monitors that I absolutely love to death. When you open my casket, these will be in my ears, I promise you. There's 18 drivers. These are the Titans. They're like $3,000, and they are just... I can mix with these, and I know the mix is going to translate to any pair of speakers and sound just... All right, what should we call this? I have some ideas for names, but I want to... What do you guys think we should call this? Hi, Richard. Well, there's 18 drive... Look at... Check this out. They have the Plug-in Guru logo on them, and there's 18 drivers inside of I've been over to their facilities here in Washington, Vancouver, where they build these, and it's just incredible what they do. But there's 18 drivers for playing the different frequencies and stuff like. Bliss on the water, yeah, I like that. Is it enough pad? Do you guys like that much pad? Hey, Richard, thank you, man. Can't believe there's 80 of you guys sitting here watching me make a synth guitar. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. Okay, so let's save this. Bliss on the water. I love that. And piano, because... I'll tell you what, let's start the piano just a little bit more. Let's pan them so it's like they're sitting in the room side by side each other. So let's say, one thing I love with Unify's panning is it's not 0 and then 120. So I can go like minus 38 and then I just say plus 38 and I'm gonna just sweeten the EQ a little bit. Let's go over here. Let's go EQ, flex EQ, just a little bit of the mid frequencies for the piano. There. Now, if you want to make it, let's do this. I'll give you one more layer. I think I can do this. Empty layer. Let's try Guru Sampler. Go over here. Guru Sampler. I'm thinking of a noise layer. Like record noise kind of thing. So let's go right here, Unify Standard, Instruments, Guru Sampler. There's some noises here that are interesting. Paper worms. If we say unpitched, let's put a low pass filter on it and no filter envelope. Let's make it monophonic so it can't build up to be louder, and no velocity so that it's just going to sit there at whatever volume we set it at. Now I'm going to still work on that FM. That the tuning is just not quite perfect for me yet, so I'm not. I'll work on this for the final bonus patch, but we'll call this lo-fi layer, so you can add this if you want. Unify noise layer optional. And then we're going to save it off. And let's see, we don't need resonance, so we're going to call this the Lo-fi noise on off. Does that fit? Nope. Noise on off. On off, right click. We don't need to do filter resonance, so we say bye-bye to that. Hit plus, and we're going to go to Lo-fi layer option MIDI enable. So this way you can toggle whether you have it on. And let's do this. Let's make this a little bit more tricky because I like tricky. So we'll say add Lo-fi mix volume. And we're going to have it so from 0 to 50, it stays at 1 volume. And then have it like just slowly allow you to get a little bit louder if you want. So set the starting volume here. And then as you bring this up, let's make it a bit more linear. Let's do this. I hear a little sonic change, I think because key tracking is on, so let's set this to 0, so there's no key tracking. That way you have it so it's... Because if you have key tracking on, believe it or not, it will have changed. It changes the filter because it's tracking the key. So set it to 0, and that way no matter where you play on the keyboard, it's the same. And let's take this one step further. So the noise on, let's say, noise effects mix, okay? Because this is going to get a little bit more advanced because I'm going to also add one more parameter into Guru Sampler to the filter cutoff. So this way it's going to be at this dark tone, and then as you bring it up and it gets louder, it will slowly get brighter. So you can have it like be barely nothing. And let's say we don't want to get quite that bright. Maybe there. So it gets louder. It's a hailstorm. Maybe not quite that much. Let's say right there. So as you can see with the macro knobs, you can make every parameter have its own shape and curve and starting and stopping. It's a dream come true as a sound designer to have this kind of control over what your knobs are going to do. So you can have it go away or be there. Okay, I think we're just about there. So bring the whole thing down a little bit. The last test that I do for a patch is playing notes. Play like 6 notes, top of the keyboard range, the bottom of the keyboard range, and make sure it's not distorting. Okay, now we can save it. So key, Bliss on the water. And with Bliss on the water. You know what that means? We gotta do one more thing to this. Guitar. We have to add Bliss. Bonus. So made during the July 29th live stream. Save as, save. So here's another trick. So I want to add the Bliss element from this patch. Where are you at? Guitar Bliss. So I'm going to load this as a Unify layer. I'm going to open this layer and go to the Bliss layer, which is right here, and say copy this layer. That copies this into a buffer. So now I can hold down, or actually I'll do it the long way. I'll do it the long way. I'm just going to go to delete layer, and then I can go up here and I can say layer paste. So I'm pasting just one layer from that Unify patch. But instead of having to load the patch and like copy and stuff, what's so cool, Unify can load any patch into itself. So you can load a patch as a Unify layer, open it, copy just the thing you want to put into your other patch, then delete that, and then paste it. And so now, oh, that's going to be so pretty, you guys. So check this out. Seriously, take it down an octave and a little bit softer. Yeah, there we go. And let's say filtering, let's have it be a little bit darker, so it's like a dark version of the Bliss. Just kind of creeps in. We'll have a little bit of slow fade in. Let's have it fade in even more, so it's like just this subtle thing that... It's just there as like this little... Nice. But I don't want to get too bright, because this is like for the somber moments of the film. Or if you're in church, behind everybody talking and singing and stuff. Nice. Okay. Save that puppy. So I need to get 2 patches to you guys. So let's go over here. Let's say libraries for a folder name. Libraries. And let's open this up. Let's hide everybody for a second and then say, I'm going to copy over. Let's do it this way. So I have to make sure. First thing in this is a folder that has the name of the library. And then these are just patches. So I'm going to copy over the whole patches folder and then open this. And I'm going to say date modified. So it gives me just the 2 that I just made. And just keep those and get rid of everything else. Okay. So this libraries folder has the library, has only a patches folder, and it has 2 patches. And because I put bonus in the name, I'm not going to put a Z. We'll just let these be added to the library. And if you want to find them, all you have to do is go up here and say bonus. And, daydreaming in reverse. Well, it's too late. That's already in the... It is bonus, but I made a whole bunch of other bonus patches before I released the library. But the bonus patches that we've done are the BPM split, move the mod wheel, the drum groove starts. Right? And then Bliss on the Water. Very mellow. It's not trying to like grab a lot of attention. But it's perfect for film, cinematic, for lo-fi stuff, for meditation, all that kind of beautiful stuff. So let's do this. We'll compress this. Then I go over here, libraries, copy the name. Let's go. We'll shorten the name. M Guitars version 3 bonus. So there will be a bigger version of this, and they would say .guru instead of .zip. And now use Guru. If you drag this over Unify and say OK, it will install those patches into this library. But you have to have this library installed first. Otherwise, these patches will be of no use to you. So, yes. Well, we have someone to thank for that name. I didn't come up with Bliss on the Water. That was... Who came up with that? Oh, okay. Frank, I think you probably left before I got a chance to say goodbye. Yeah, Ken Camino Studios came up with Bliss on the Waters. Bye, Clyde. Good to see you. Anyway, here's the link. Let me go over here to the box of droppage. Plug-in Guru freebies, Unify Libraries, MegaMagic Guitars, Volume 3. Put this in there. Copy the link. Here is the links in chat, and then I'll put it into the video description as well. The 2 bonus patches made in this live stream. They're in the video description as well. So, okay. Thank you all for hanging out. You guys are troopers, and I hope you get something beneficial from watching these and seeing how I'm using Unify. That's the whole reason we are here, right? All right, let's do our shout outs since we're at the end of it. Shout out from Norway. Look at Ivar already knows what time it is. So shout out from Portland, Oregon. Thank you all for joining from wherever you are in the world. It's awesome that, look at Cologne. I love it. From Scotland, look at that. Ohio. Lisbon, capital of World Youth Day. Right on, Fernando. Good to see you, man. From Santa Clara, California, good to see you, Richard. Louisville for Dave. Dave, good to see you, my friend. Thank you all you guys for your support as always. Remco, Michael, Wismos, Tim Dale, my brother, thank you. Kasaka-san, shout out from Japan. Domo arigatou gozaimashita. Domo. Germany. Isn't it so cool? It's just this worldwide hang. I still just love the fact there's people all over the world just hanging out all together, unified. Hey, unified. Playing with Unify. All right, well, bless you all. Thank you for your support. We need a library called Crockpot Cuts. Right on, Reggie, man. If you ever see me in person, just say Crockpot. I'm gonna know who you are because Reggie gave us this quote today. I love this. Crockpot versus microwave. We like the Crockpot. We were talking about synth programming and sampling and how I like to do everything step by step by hand. There's no automation to all this stuff. There's a little automation. I mean, for spitting out the samples, I'm not doing that one at a time, but you know. Yeah, so thank you all. We will see you next week for another lively hangout. And yeah, it's awesome. So I'm glad you're enjoying this library. It was really fun to put this one together. See you all later. Have a great week. Be creative. May guitars be playing in your dreams. All right. See you later.